Disney World does not waste your time loudly. Before you know it, you spent valuable park hours waiting in queues, taking longer than you should deciding on where to do lunch, and crisscrossing the parks like you're training for a marathon. After years of studying Disney World and the little mistakes guests make over and over again, I can tell you this. The people who have the best Disney days are not always the people who spend the most money. They're the people who waste the least time. So today, we're covering the 10 biggest ways guests waste time at Disney World. Miss even one of these, and your dream Disney day can turn into a very expensive waiting game. Let's get into it. Number 1. Starting the day without a park plan. The first way guests waste time at Disney World is walking through the tap styles with no real plan. And I don't mean you need a laminated spreadsheet. Please do not become the person yelling, "We are 6 minutes behind schedule!" in front of a churro cart. That is not magical. But you do need a basic order of attack, because Disney World punishes indecision. Before you enter the park, know 3 things: your first ride, your second ride, and the attraction, show, or meal you are willing to save for later. That's it. The exact ride matters less than having a direction, because once your group starts debating, Disney World keeps moving without you. The biggest time saver is not rushing, it's deciding before the pressure hits. And that leads perfectly into the next mistake, because even guests with a plan can blow it by chasing the wrong lines. Number 2, waiting in long standby lines at the wrong time. Here's one of the most painful Disney mistakes. A guest sees a 70-minute wait and thinks, well, I guess this is just what Disney is. Not always. Sometimes that 70-minute wait is only 70 minutes because you picked the worst possible moment. Disney wait times are not fixed. They rise, fall, spike, dip, and shift depending on the hour, the weather, the parade schedule, ride breakdowns, and where the crowd is flowing. A ride that is brutal at 1 p.m. may be totally reasonable at 8:45 p.m. This is where guests lose hours. They treat every posted wait time like it's now or never. But Disney World rewards patience, strategic patience. If a ride has a wait time that feels too high, ask yourself one question. Is this attraction likely to be better later? For many rides, the answer is yes. The mistake is giving your best energy to the worst wait. Your morning should be used for high-demand attractions while the park is still waking up. Your afternoon should be used for shows, meals, lower weight rides, indoor experiences, shopping, and rest. Your evening should be used for the rides that get better when families start leaving, or crowds gather for nighttime entertainment. The trick is not avoiding lines completely, that's unrealistic. The trick is refusing to pay full price with your time, when the same ride may be cheaper later. And speaking of paying with your time, the next mistake is one of the sneakiest of all, because it feels productive, but it absolutely is not. Number 3, crisscrossing the park all day. This one looks harmless. You're in Adventureland, you check the app, Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin is only 15 minutes, so you walk to Tomorrowland. Then Jungle Cruise drops, so you walk back. Then someone wants Haunted Mansion, then the next Lightning Lane is across the park. Lunch is somewhere else. By 3 p.m., you've done 6 attractions and somehow walked the distance from Orlando to Atlanta. This is what I call Disney pinball. You bounce from land to land, chasing whatever looks good in the moment. Sometimes a low wait is worth moving for, but if you do it all day, you are not saving time. You are converting ride time into walking time. The parks are a lot bigger than you realize. The better strategy is to tour by zones. Do what makes sense nearby. This also protects your energy because wasted time and wasted energy are connected. Once your feet are cooked, your whole group slows down. So stop chasing every wait time like it's a golden ticket. Move through the park like you're sweeping it, not like you're being chased. So far, we've talked about planning your first move, not getting trapped in bad standby waits, and not turning the park into a walking marathon. But now we're getting into the mistakes that feel smart in the moment, the ones where guests say, "Oh, this will make our day easier, and then somehow lose an hour. And the next one is probably the most common. Number 4. Misusing Lightning Lane. Lightning Lane can be a huge time saver, but it can also become an expensive distraction. The mistake is assuming that buying Lightning Lane automatically means you're using it well. That is not how this works. Lightning Lane is only valuable when it saves you from the right lines. If you use it on attractions that already have low waits, you are not saving much. You're just spending money to feel organized. The real value is in high-demand rides. For Magic Kingdom, that might mean Peter Pan's Flight, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, Space Mountain, Jungle Cruise, or Big Thunder Mountain, depending on your group. For Epcot, it might mean Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, Frozen Ever After, or Test Track. For Hollywood Studios, Slinky Dog Dash is usually the one everyone fights for. For Animal Kingdom, Na'vi River Journey can be a sneaky time saver depending on crowds, especially if Flight of Passage is handled separately. The second mistake is booking return windows that break your flow. A Lightning Lane on the opposite side of the park can save you 40 minutes in line, but it'll cost you 25 minutes in walking, waiting, and reorganizing. That's still a win sometimes, but not always. Think of Lightning Lane as a tool, not a personality. It should support your day, not control it. Use your first selections to protect the rides that matter most. Then, once you redeem a selection and can look for another, choose based on both weight savings and location. A good Lightning Lane that pulls you away from everything else may not actually be good. Number 5. Waiting too long to figure out food. Food at Disney World is part of the fun, but figuring out food at the wrong time is a trap. The worst version looks like this. It's 12:30, everyone is hungry, nobody knows what they want. Somebody else says, let's just walk around and see. No, that sentence has destroyed more Disney afternoons than rain has. Let's just walk around and see is how you spend 35 minutes looking for chicken nuggets while your best ride window disappears. The fix is to choose food before hunger becomes an emergency. In the morning, take 60 seconds and decide where lunch is probably happening. You don't need a full dining manifesto, just pick your likely location, then use mobile order before the lunch rush hits. Order early, pick a return window, modify if needed. That one habit can save a surprising amount of time. Here's another tiny but deadly time waster. Buying breakfast inside the park before you ride anything. Unless breakfast is the experience, don't burn the lowest wait hours standing in a coffee line. Eat before you arrive. Bring a small breakfast, grab coffee at the resort, then snack later when wait times are getting a bit higher and your ride strategy has already paid off. Disney food should be part of the magic, not the reason why you missed the magic. And once food gets handled better, the next major time waster is all about entertainment. Number 6. Camping out too early for parades and fireworks. I love Disney fireworks. I love the music, the castle projections, the emotional manipulation, all of it. Disney knows exactly how to make grown adults tear up over animated elephants and well-timed key change, but here's the time waster. Some guests stake out a fireworks spot way too early. They sit on the pavement an hour or more, guarding a patch of concrete like it's a beachfront property. And for some, that's worth it. If fireworks are your number one priority, do it. No judgment here, but many guests do it because they think they have to. You don't always have to. There are solid viewing spots that don't require sacrificing a full hour. You can watch from further back on Main Street. You can watch from areas with a slightly angled view. You can even choose a less perfect view and save a massive chunk of time. The same applies to parades. Front row parade viewing is great, but ask yourself what you're giving up. If you wait 60 minutes for a parade and the parade lasts 15 minutes, that experience costs you 75 minutes. Again, maybe worth it, but make that choice on purpose, not out of panic. And here's the alternative strategy. Use parade and fireworks times for rides. When crowds gather for entertainment, certain attraction waits can soften. Not always, but enough that it's worth checking. This is especially helpful if your group has already seen the show, doesn't care about the parade, or has another chance later in the trip. Number 7. Letting transportation eat the day. Disney transportation is wonderful. It's also not teleportation. This is where guests get into trouble. They assume Disney has buses, so getting around will be easy. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is a beautiful Skyliner ride with a breeze and a view. Sometimes it's a bus that arrives right when you walk up. Sometimes it's a peaceful boat ride that feels like part of the vacation. And sometimes you wait and wait and wait. Transportation becomes a time waster when guests plan like everything will be instant. Going from your resort to a park? Build in some buffer time. Going from one resort to another for dinner? Build in even more, because resort to resort transportation is where Disney time goes to hide. There usually is not a direct bus from one Disney resort to another. So you may need to transfer at a park, Disney Springs, or use a rideshare. That can turn a simple dinner reservation into a travel puzzle. If you're staying at Pop Century and eating at Ohana, that is not just heading over. That requires a plan. If you're leaving Animal Kingdom for dinner at the boardwalk, that also is a plan. If you're trying to make fireworks after a resort meal, that is definitely a plan. The fix is to treat transportation like an attraction with a wait time. Ask yourself, how long will this really take door to door? Not bus stop to bus stop. Door to door, room to restaurant, restaurant to fireworks spot, park exit to hotel bed. Sometimes Disney transportation is the right call. Sometimes walking is better. Sometimes it's a Skyliner. Sometimes paying for a rideshare saves your evening. The biggest mistake is assuming transportation time doesn't count. It absolutely does. And it might be the reason your relaxing dinner suddenly feels like a race. Alright, we're entering the danger zone now, because the first 7 mistakes are about logistics. These are about mindset, where good trips turn exhausting, where families start snapping at each other, where people say, "Why does this feel harder than it should?" And the answer is usually not one giant disaster, it's one of these 3 time wasters quietly running in the background. Number 8. Spending the whole day staring at the app. The My Disney Experience app is essential. It helps with wait times, mobile ordering, lightning lane, dining, maps, photos, hotel details, and more, but it can also become a black hole. Some guests spend the entire day refreshing wait times, refreshing their lightning lanes, checking the map, rechecking their dining reservations, checking wait times again. Then someone asks what the next plan is and they say, "Hold on, let me check." 5 minutes later, everyone is still standing there waiting for an answer. The app is supposed to help you move, not stop you from moving. The problem is decision fatigue. Disney gives you so much information that you can start believing there is always a better option. A shorter line somewhere else, a better snack nearby, a better return time if you refresh one more time, a better plan if you just stare at the screen a little longer. But while you're searching for the perfect next move, the good move is passing you by. Set app check moments. Check it after scanning into a lightning lane. Check it while waiting for food. Check it when you finish a land and are ready to move, but don't check it every 90 seconds. And don't let one person become the stressed out family air traffic controller. Share the plan. Let everyone know the next 2 moves. Then put the phone away long enough to notice where you are, because Disney World is not just a checklist. It's the smell of popcorn on Main Street, the music shift between lands, the details in the queue, the random character sightings, the kid laughing at something nobody planned. If the app is helping you catch more of that, great. If the app is making you miss it, it's wasting your time. Number 9. Refusing to take breaks. This sounds backwards, but one of the biggest ways guests waste time is refusing to stop. They think breaks are for weak Disney people. They paid a lot of money for their ticket. They flew all the way to Orlando. They are going to open the park, close the park, and conquer every attraction like it's a military operation with mouse ears. And by 4 p.m., everyone is cooked. The kids are melting, the adults are pretending they're fine, someone's feet hurt, like my son usually, someone is dehydrated, also usually my son, someone is mad because someone else is walking too fast. And now every decision takes longer, and that's the hidden cost of skipping breaks. You don't save time, you just move slower later on. A 45-minute pool break can rescue an entire evening. A quiet lunch indoors can reset the group. A slow ride like People Mover, Living with the Land, or a Grand Fiesta Tour can give everyone a breather without fully stopping. Even sitting in the shade with a cold drink can prevent a meltdown. Disney World is physically demanding. You're walking miles. You're standing in the heat. You're processing music, crowds, smells, lights, announcements, characters, strollers, scooters, and wait times all day. And that's a lot. The smartest guests protect their energy before they desperately need to. They don't wait until the group falls apart. They schedule the reset. And here's the best part. A rested group gets more done. They move faster, they argue less, they make cleaner decisions, they enjoy the night instead of limping through it. So, no, breaks are not wasted time. Breaks are what stop you from wasting the rest of the day. And now, we've reached the biggest time waster of all. The one you specifically need to hear if your Disney plan starts with, well, just sleep in and get there whenever. Because that one sentence can cost you more than almost anything else. Number 10. Arriving after 10:30 a.m. Here it is. The biggest way guests waste time at Disney World is arriving after 10:30 in the morning. I know, vacation is supposed to be relaxing. My wife tells me that all the time. Nobody wants to set an alarm that feels suspiciously like a workday, and yes, there are certain trips where sleeping in makes sense. Maybe you have a late night party. Maybe you have a resort day. Maybe you're traveling with someone who truly cannot do early mornings. That's real. But if we're talking about pure time efficiency in the parks, arriving after 10:30 is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. Because by 10:30, the easy part of the day is mostly gone. The entrance crowd has arrived, the headliner waits have grown, the sun is stronger, the walkways are busier. Mobile order windows may already be getting pushed later in the day. Lightning Lane inventory is not as fresh, and the people who arrived early have already done 2, 3, maybe 4 things before you even tapped in. That's the part late arriving guests underestimate. They don't just lose the time they slept in, they lose the easiest time of the day. The first hour after opening is powerful because the park is not fully filled in yet. You can go ahead of the crowd instead of spending the entire day behind it. At Magic Kingdom, an early start can knock out key Fantasyland or Tomorrowland attractions before the lines swell. At Hollywood Studios, it can make the difference between a manageable morning and a day spent fighting for every major ride. And Animal Kingdom, early morning can be beautiful because the animals are actually active, the heat is lower, and the park feels calmer. At Epcot, getting in early helps you handle one major attraction before World Showcase becomes the main event, especially if you're planning to drink around the world. Arriving after 10:30 flips the whole equation. Now you're entering when everyone else is already in motion. You're hungry sooner, you're behind on rides, you make decisions in heavier crowds, and because you feel behind, you start to rush yourself. And that rush leads to more mistakes. You choose a bad standby line, you mobile order too late, walk across the park, chasing a wait time, all the stuff we've been talking about, and that one late arrival can trigger half the mistakes on this list. The better strategy is simple. Pick your early mornings intentionally. You don't have to rope drop every single day, but for your most important park days, get there early. Not exactly at opening, earlier. Be through security, scanned in, and ready before the crowd surge hits. If you're eligible for early theme park entry, use it. If you're not, still, arrive before official opening so you're ready when your access begins. Then once you've had a strong morning, you can slow down later. Take the pool break, enjoy a long lunch, wander the shops, watch the fireworks without feeling like the whole day got away from you. That's the secret. Early arrival does not make your Disney day more stressful, it makes the rest of your Disney day less stressful. Because nothing feels better than looking at the clock at 10:30 and realizing you've already done more than some guests will do by lunch. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these have you accidentally done? And which one do you think wastes the most time? Drop it in the comments because Disney fans always have the strongest opinions on park strategy, and honestly, I love reading them. And if this helped you rethink your Disney day, hit the like button, share this episode with a person who always says, let's just wing it, and subscribe for more Disney World tips that actually make your trip easier. Then click on the next video on your screen because your adventure is just beginning.